Heyo, and welcome into Smoking Hot Takes. Russell Wilson's days as a Bronco are limited, as rumor has it he's on the chopping block. Broncos country, how do you feel about Russ riding the bench for the last two games of the season? I'm sure y'all heard Lamar call out Mike Florio for saying the Niners would clap the Ravens, but did you also see the video of Lamar taking a dump on Prophet Jay? He heard Jay's shit talk and stood on the business as he bolstered his MVP campaign against Fraud Purdy and the Whiners. Can you tell I'm a Seahawks fan? And did Tua and the Dolphins finally shut up the haters with a quality win over Dak and the Cowboys? Or are the boys just a sub 500 team in disguise? But we the boys, as K-Dog would say. We've got a quick and dirty episode today as CDubs and I cover a Week 16 recap, Week 17 pick'em, smoking hot top 10s, and a classified CDubs segment for the new year. Let's get smoking! Smoking!
Smoking, smoking, we are the smokers, smoking.
Hell yeah. How you doing,
What's up,
C-Dub?
baby?
How you doing
Doing
today?
good, man. Coming off the Christmas
Yeah, it sounds like
holiday.
you're coming off a Christmas high over there.
Oh, I was about to say I'm always high, but that's not the case.
No. No.
Yeah, man. No, it's good festive time with the family and
Yeah?
everyone. Yeah, get to see some
Nice.
relatives and enjoy the
Sounds
company
good.
of good people.
Got some
So
good meals in?
yeah, lots of medicine because I got sick,
Oh,
but
medicine, huh?
some
Sick?
some
On Christmas?
unfortunately it was
Wow.
tragic. You hate to see it, but
That's too bad.
we honestly the fam did something new for Christmas this year. They actually catered Chick-fil-A. So they
What?
went, yeah, dude, they got like a frozen meal. So they ordered everything ahead of time. They picked it all up on Saturday, kept it in the freezer, and then while I was out for the count, they went up and they cooked everything at my other
Nice.
relative's house, and they brought back the leftovers. So I got like chicken sandwiches, mac and cheese, some lemonade, like all that stuff was just sitting there waiting for me, which was
And that's clutch.
phenomenal. Yeah,
Nice.
very
Cool.
nice.
What was your did you get a lot of gifts? Did you get like anything good of note
Fair
you want
amount. I
to talk
mean,
about?
I feel like a couple pairs of socks always. No, I'm kidding.
New
No,
undies.
no, yeah, no, no. Got a couple things I've been looking for. Some fancier cologne that I had asked
Oh
for,
wow.
and
Who'd you
nice
get?
nice nice new little jacket. Got a little Tom Ford
Oh,
with
Tom Ford, huh? Is that the
yeah.
Mariner? Mariner Tom Ford?
No. You're thinking of Mike Ford,
Oh, Mike Ford.
who is no longer a Mariner.
Uh,
But yeah, no, it's some good smelling stuff. So I got that. I got a nice jacket. So
nice. That's
not too
dope.
much, but the essentials. What about
Yeah,
you,
I
my friend?
I got a lot of clothes too. I feel like clothes are like an iconic Christmas gift. Like if you can't think of anything, just get somebody a T-shirt. I got a Pac-12 champs, UW Pac-12 champs shirt.
Ooh,
So that's gonna be the
nice.
last one ever printed. I actually got it signed by the Pac-12 commissioner and all the teams and stuff. So that's pretty sick.
Really? What about the mascots?
Not the mascots. Yeah, I forgot about those guys. And then I also got this. My mom outdone herself again. I got this dope like wall decoration, like Seahawks wall decoration. That matches my Mariners one.
Ooh.
I think you know what that one looks like, right?
Oh yeah, dude, that's dope. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll be able to put that right next to that one. But
Perfect.
speaking of gifts, I hope everybody was able to enter the contest to get a gift from us. We're actually going to
Mhm.
extend the contest another week. We'll probably be announcing the winner after this new year. So, and then just to kind of reiterate what the requirements to enter were. So you either can like the post to get a point, tag a friend to get a point, and share it on your story to get a point. And then we didn't really clarify how many points you could get for tagging a friend. So that was kind of an oversight on our end, but we're gonna keep it to where take as many as you want to get as many points as you want. So I saw a bunch of you guys tagging two, three people. So you guys got as many points as friends you tagged. So I think that will kind of add a little more competition onto the wheel as people are taking more space up. So it should be interesting to say
Yeah,
the
no, for
least.
sure. Best of luck to all of you who have entered. Tell your
Yes.
friends, have them enter too. Well, actually, maybe don't do that because then you're decreasing your chances of winning.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you never know. I mean, you might be the
Yeah.
lucky winner.
Yep.
So
Yep. So I'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll somehow repost that or something. I don't know. Just make it fresh on everybody's feed somehow. But yeah, just another week, and then we're gonna get that contest winner out next podcast. All right, so let's just dive into the Week 16 recap. We're gonna start with some smoking hot takes of the week,
ooh,
and again, none of us hit one, or am I lying?
surprise, surprise.
So let's start with the furthest one away from hitting. Let's start with Prophet J. You know, Prophet's in the name, but the outcome remains the same. He does not hit. Uh, yeah, I gotta remember what he said beyond the Bills are gonna win by 2 touchdowns. Well, let's see. How many points did the Bills win by there, CDubs? Do you
They
recall?
won by 2. They won by 2. And I believe he predicted like
Points.
4 players to score touchdowns along with their team owner somehow getting on the field and scoring a touchdown. So,
As well as
uh
Kellen Moore breaking his leg. I don't think he broke his
yeah, I
leg.
remember that one. No, no. And unless that didn't get reported on the injury report or something.
That's
But
right. Yeah.
yeah, I think the prophet read the wrong tea leaves on that one.
That's right. And then we'll jump into K Dog. So he had two. We'll start with one that wasn't close to hitting. It was McCaffrey would have more total yards than Lamar. And I don't know if we watched the same game. I'm sure everybody saw it. Lamar stood on the business, like in the intro, right? He kind of said, "Hey, I'm the MVP. I am him." So I could see where K Dog was coming from, where, if the 49ers had the game that they imagined when they picked the 49ers to win, um, I could see him doing this. You know, he is the MVP for that team. Some could say the MVP for the league, but we just saw, Lamar just said, "No, no, that's mine." So that didn't come true. I don't know the total yardage, but I just know that
It
it wasn't.
was Lamar had I just pulled it up. Lamar had 297 all-purpose yards, and McCaffrey had 131.
Okay, so
It's about 170 off.
yeah, that's a bit. That's a bit. Okay, and then mine was that Derrick Henry would have 140 yards. I believe I did say rushing. I can't remember. But I'm going to say I said all-purpose yards and two tutties. And he had two tutties and 111 all-purpose yards. That's pretty close. Pretty
It's not bad.
close.
I thought he only had one touchdown.
No, he had to throw. He had a passing
Oh,
touchdown.
okay. Yeah. Right, right. I forgot that one. Yeah.
So
All right. We'll
these
accept it.
visions, they do come to me, but they always aren't as clear as to the finer details. But we somehow
Yeah.
are able to get close.
Oh wait, we
You
had
know.
K Dog's second one too. I don't think we mentioned that one.
Oh, that's
The
right, K
Flacco
Dog.
one. Yeah.
So this is actually probably the closest. Flacco would lead the lead in passing for the week, and he was second in the league. Do you have any stats on that?
Yeah, Mullins, Nick Mullins, the
Nick
Vikings
Mullins.
quarterback, was number one with 411 passing yards.
Wow.
Flacco was second with 368. So within 50. I mean,
Yeah, that's
close.
that's pretty dang close.
And
So
Flacco was benched in the fourth. Well, I guess I shouldn't say benched, but the score was so out of reach that the Browns rested their starters for like most of the fourth
right,
quarter. So
yeah. So pretty dang close. Got to give props to K Dog there. But yet again, none of us hit it. I think these are impossible, honestly, to do. Well,
I mean, getting close. I mean, it's
yeah.
it's better than
I mean,
nothing. Like
close is
you
like
guys are on
the
the
only
right
thing you can do.
track. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, right?
amen to that.
All right, well, let's just jump into our Week 16 recap. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on many of these games. Whichever ones we just decide to kind of get into, we will naturally. But to start, we got the Saints and Rams. So Saints won, psych. Saints lost 22-33 to the Rams. We got much to say on this?
No, this was kind of a beatdown. Like the Saints scored 15 points in relatively garbage time at the end,
Right.
so it was 30-7 or something like that, 27-7. I don't know. The Rams
Yep.
Rams just showed that they're significantly better than the Saints, and I think
Yeah,
we all kind of knew that. So
I think so too. Kyron Williams and Puka Nakua, both fifth round picks, right? In the draft.
yeah,
Just kind of proven why draft capital does not matter. You know, it's like who are these hidden gems you just find in the middle of the draft? That's where I think you win the draft, right? It's not these first, second rounders you find. Like those guys are supposed to be good. And then you find these hidden gems that just explode like this. I mean, Puka
oh,
Nakua has the most
100%.
receiving yards as a rookie. Is he on pace to break that record? I believe,
I'm
right?
pretty sure. I mean, he almost has 1,300 with 2 games
That's
left. So
insanity.
I mean, well, just think of this. Now I know I'm not trying to target you here,
Me?
but yeah, I'm not trying to target you. But imagine being the Chargers GM,
Oh
former
yeah,
GM, now that he's fired, and like they invested first round capital in Quentin Johnson, and they could have had Puka, like 4 rounds later, for next to nothing.
that's crazy.
That's gotta hurt.
Yep. I mean, I feel like these GMs fall into this trap where they have to pick the right guy. It's like you pick
Yeah,
who supposed to pick. It's like why Bryce Young is taken so high. It's why Quentin Johnson is taken so high. It's because they were graded there. Uh,
yeah.
and I mean, I don't know. I can't say anything because I'm not a GM, but if I was running a team, it would look a lot different.
It's also like a system thing too. Like just be like even if I guess to counter my point, even if Puka went to the Chargers in like the first round, there's no guarantee that he would break out the same. Like it could be that McVay is just kind
Right.
of like the offensive whisperer and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
got the juice and Puka fits in the system really well. So
Yeah. That's fair. Saints, man. Alvin Kamara, 9 carries, 19 yards. So
gross.
is he washed or is this Saints team
No.
just not really helping him,
I think it's more so the Rams defense just shuts down running backs. I think the
Yeah.
Rams are number one against running backs for the second half of the season so far.
That's crazy.
So, and also Carr, like to Carr's credit, he actually is starting to air it out, and it's working, kind of. I mean, he's got
Yeah.
like 250 and 3 touchdowns the last 2 games each. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's finally starting to wake up their passing game, but at the expense of Kamara. So it'll be
Yep.
interesting to see what they do in the offseason though, because I don't think they have to keep Kamara. I think they could cut him and not have to eat a bunch of money or anything like that. So
Sure.
will be interesting to see what happens there.
Nice. All right. Let's just move on because we got a lot more to cover. Bengals Steelers. Bengals dropped the game 11-34 to the Steelers. It was funny. I was texting K Dot or maybe this is the whole group, and I was just like, guys, I think we should have saw this coming. I think everything just kind of caught up to Browning. I mean, I kind of mentioned these lofty balls he'd been throwing, and he threw a lot of those this game. I mean, that Steelers D is legit. They're at home. Tomlin doesn't never has a losing record. Why did we all pick the Bengals here? Is this just like some sort of
Yeah,
infatuation we have with Jake Browning?
I
You know,
think so. I
it's
think
that
I think our
underdog story.
loyalty our loyalty got in the way.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
so
just
good.
if you just kind of look at it, they beat the Jags like on the Bengals 3 game winning streak. They beat the Jags on
Right.
Monday night, which that game was crazy. So like whatever, it goes either way on that one. And then you have they beat the Colts, not exactly a defensive powerhouse team. They beat the Vikings, also not exactly a defensive powerhouse team. And then they get smoked by Mike Tomlin again. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the team or what. I think this week they play the Chiefs, which will be a good matchup. But, um,
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I think,
that's just another great defense they're gonna have to play against.
yeah,
I mean, we'll talk about it later, but it's almost like Brock Purdy when he plays elite defenses. It's just like these caliber of quarterbacks. I mean, I don't want to say Jake Browning and Purdy are. I mean, they're pretty similar, but I think
yeah,
Purdy, he should get his flowers for what he's done. Uh, but when these type of quarterbacks have seen these elite defenses, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Chiefs,
yeah.
I would feel like it's kind of up there.
No,
They
it
kind of
really shows.
Yeah,
Really
it
shows.
shows, and I would not be confident in Jake Browning against the Chiefs. I mean, there's a reason I picked up the Chiefs defense to play against Jake Browning, right?
Yeah.
But a different quarterback to talk about in this game. The Steelers, Mason Rudolph,
I
Rudolph
don't want to talk
really
about Mason Rudolph.
you don't?
No, I don't
Why?
like Mason Rudolph.
Why? He
I
looked pretty
wish
good out there, didn't he?
I wish he had gotten clubbed in the head with the helmet a little bit
Oh
harder
no,
by
dude.
by Myles Garrett.
Dear God.
What about George Pickens, man?
All right, we don't
He
need to talk about that guy. Dude, that's
that
so
that
annoying. So, of course, I get to play against him in fantasy, and I was looking back. I was like,
dude.
before I saw that the person I played against had played Pickens, I was like, I hope they benched him because he's been ass and he hasn't been blocking. So I think he's gonna. You know how like for
Yeah.
Dan Campbell and like Jameson Williams, it's like if you block, you're getting the ball. I was hoping it'd be that sort of situation, but no, he goes nuclear, 4 receptions, 195 yards. That's 50 yards of
Dude,
reception. What's going on
it
here?
it was like the Bengals just parted the Red Sea and they're like, hey, like it seriously was like, hey, I don't think Mason Rudolph can throw it this far. Like, I
Yeah.
bet. See if you can throw it this far. And he did. And Pickens just he caught everything. So
Like that, something this good for a player could not have happened to a worse person. I hate this guy. This is the worst team player I've ever
he
seen.
is.
And he
He's
just
a poor
pops
sport.
off. God.
Yeah. No. It's
Whatever.
whatever.
All right, move on. Hatred is out of my body. Bills Chargers 24-22. Bills take it. I don't think any of us expected this. It was at home for the Chargers, so you might think, the Bills kind of, they were coming all the
Easton
way from
Stick,
New
man.
York, blah, blah, blah. But Easton Stick, I mean, he played pretty well. I think we kind of saw that last game where, like, even though they got blown out, he still actually didn't play too badly.
Yeah,
He
he's
goes
fine.
23 for 33 this game. But I don't know. What else did you see?
Uh, I not really much on my end to be honest for this game. I mean,
Yeah, that's
other
why I
than
ended
like
with the
Diggs,
but.
yeah, other than
Couldn't think
like
of anything else.
Stephon Diggs just doesn't exist anymore, I guess, on the Buffalo
Yeah,
offense. Like he just fell off a cliff. We have the rare Gabe Davis game, and then I don't know, their running game just didn't do anything. This was the first week since they made the offensive coordinator change that James Cook really didn't have much production. So
right.
I
And
mean, I'm sure it was bound to stop eventually. It just happened to stop when they were
yeah,
playing a team that everyone thought they'd roll over.
I
So
know. This is like such a typical trap game where it's like, oh, they should
yeah,
smoke the Chargers, and then they go out there and almost lose.
yeah,
Uh, I think this sort of game is when this happens to a good team, which I think the Bills are. It's almost just like a recalibrating type game. It's like, okay, the league caught on or to whatever we're
yep.
doing. Let's change it
No,
up
I
going
agree.
into the next game. I think the next game is going to be a typical like Bills kind of blowout
Oh,
type game.
100%. I will cover that game in the locks on Friday.
Pretty good.
But yes, I can completely am on the
Yeah.
exact same page with you. The Bills are going to destroy the Patriots. But
Yes. Nice. Highlight Cameron Dicker, the kicker, man. Jesus Christ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 field goals. Five
yeah,
times three, people. That's 15. He had 15 of the 22 points. What's going on around here? All right, on to the next game. Commanders Jets 28-30. So this is a weird game.
one of the stranger games I think I've ever seen.
So strange. The Jets were leading 27-10 to 0, or sorry, 27-0 at one point, right?
Yeah,
And then the Commanders just decided to turn it on. I think,
they bench Howell.
yeah, they bench Howell, and
Howell,
then
listen to this. I want you to guess what Sam Howell's quarterback rating was. QBR. Okay.
3.5.
Okay, dude, that was almost spot on. His QBR was
Really?
1.7.
Jesus.
This is one. So Sam Howell's QBR was 1.7. So you weren't that far off. I'll read you his stat line. He was 6 for 22 for 56 yards and 2 interceptions. That's
Wow.
horrible. So
Wow.
he gets benched. They bring in Brissett, and suddenly they score 28 points.
Yeah. That's
Crazy.
crazy to me that I mean, the Jets defense is just that good. Sam Howell's been playing the whole season. I wouldn't say he's a bad quarterback by any means. But it just goes to show you how great this defense is. If they can do that, and then just that they are really just missing. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Just they're missing that QB. They would be they would be undefeated right now. I think.
They they'd be close to it. I mean,
So
Brees Hall's looking nice.
pretty disturbing.
Yeah, it's just. But anyways, Jets win this one on a field goal because the Commanders they took the lead. They were ahead 28-27, and then the
Yeah,
Jets
that's
score with
nuts.
like a minute left.
Like that's
Win the game.
that's unacceptable. If I was the GM, I'd be firing Robert Saleh right now. No, I'm playing. He's a good coach. He'll be around. All right, let's move on. We got the Lions and the Vikings. Now this
This was
was a
a
game.
weird one.
This was a
Yeah.
good one. I don't think it's kind of like the last one. I don't think really anybody expected this. I I kind of expected the Lions just kind of trounce the Vikings. But holy smokes, I just saw Nick Mullins 4 interceptions. Huh? So
Dude,
how
yeah.
does somebody like that not get benched after throwing 4 interceptions?
Because apparently they think Josh Dobbs is worse. Which free my guy Josh Dobbs.
I guess.
But yeah,
I
I
don't know.
mean, congrats to the Lions. They clinched their first division in
That's right.
50
30 years.
trillion years since the dawn of the dinosaurs.
That's
So
nuts. Congrats, Lions fan 42069.
yeah, job well done.
I'm excited to celebrate with you in the coming future.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
welcome back, Justin Jefferson. He kind of had a typical Justin Jefferson game. It was funny. I wouldn't say funny. It was kind of sad to watch the end of this game. The Vikings are driving potentially on a game-winning drive here,
Mm-hmm.
and Mullins is doing all he can. Jefferson's literally just like putting body in harm's way to win this game because they're still in the playoff hunt, and then Mullins just throws up a prayer to JJ and gets picked. And the camera just like at the end of the game zooms in on Justin Jefferson, and he just looked like he wanted to tear Mullins apart limb by limb and just beat the crap out of
He's
him.
Jefferson's all they have standing or left standing now because
Yeah,
Hawkinson tore his knee
gone.
up. Addison messed up his ankle. So
Yep,
yeah,
it's pretty
no,
crazy.
it was good to see Jefferson back out there doing his thing though. As someone that drafted him first overall in a fantasy league and
Dear
ended up
God,
finishing last because I didn't have my first overall pick.
that's me too, bro.
Um,
Actually,
yeah, we're
yeah,
twinsies.
yeah.
It sucked, but it like if I was in the same position next year, I would still take him like first
I'm
overall.
absolutely.
Like
So I am. Every year I've been number one, as far back as I can remember, which is about 3 years. The last 2 years I've been number one. I picked the
yeah,
consensus number one. I picked Jonathan Taylor. Actually, I wasn't number one. Prophet Jay was. He picked McCaffrey and left Jonathan Taylor, who was supposed to be number one on the board. I was number two. I picked
uh-huh.
JT, and then he was hurt. He got 3 games in and was hurt the rest of the season. This year I picked Justin Jefferson, and he gets, same kind of thing happens. Next year, I'm swearing off ever picking the consensus number one.
No,
I'm gonna
it's
be,
a trap.
yeah, I'm gonna be reaching so hard for people in the first round. I'm gonna say, okay, I mean, who's it gonna be next year? It's probably gonna be
Brandon
McCaffrey.
Aubrey, bro. Give me Brandon Aubrey with my first overall pick.
I'm just saying, I might just, reach and grab, I don't know, Tyreek Hill or whatever. I mean, he'll be up there,
Yeah.
obviously, but he won't be number one.
No, dude. The number one overall pick, it's the biggest trap. Like
Yeah,
everyone's jealous. They're like, "Dang, I wish I had." No, you don't. You don't
you
wish you had
don't.
that
You
because
don't.
whoever you pick, you're gonna pick wrong. You're setting yourself up for
Absolutely.
failure. So,
Absolutely. All right.
anyways,
Browns Texans.
I,
Thank God. Thank God the news broke that Stroud wasn't going to win or be in this game before I picked the Pick'ems because I had the Texans.
yeah,
I went in
yeah,
there and changed that so fast. Browns Texans. So Browns won 36-22. They just kind of dominated the Texans. I mean, Amari Cooper, he sent me to my grave in fantasy,
dude,
man. I thought I was
that
in
guy.
Dynasty. I was like, oh, I'm gonna win this, blah blah blah. And then nope, Amari Cooper, 51 points. There's
Could
always, I
you
swear to
imagine?
God, the playoffs are where legends are always born.
Oh, 100%, dude. Could you imagine being a Cowboys fan and
Or a Raiders
thinking
fan.
about thinking about having CD Lamb alongside Amari Cooper?
Oh
Wouldn't
my
that just be like?
God.
Wouldn't that be like one of the craziest wide receiver duos you've ever heard
Yeah,
of?
absolutely.
But I guess Jerry didn't want that.
Yeah.
But that would be nuts, dude. Amari Cooper. I feel like he's someone that I always kind of disrespect, and
Yeah,
it's
he's
like,
underrated.
yeah, he's just kind of like an afterthought. Like I'm always like, oh yeah, like there's Amari Cooper. Like he's like a solid receiver,
Yeah,
but like no, dude, he's like actually in the upper echelon. Like when he's on his game, he just dominates people. So
absolutely. Yep.
shout out
11.
Amari. Keep doing your
Yep.
thing, man.
11 receptions, 265, two tutties. So
Jesus.
265, that's the record for Browns receiving yards. And salt to the wound, I actually traded him to the guy that beat me in Dynasty.
Oh,
So,
dude.
yeah. But you know what?
Uh,
I try not to lament these things because there's nothing I can really do about it. If I go
yeah,
back, I can't go back 7 wins. So whatever. I lost. Retool next year. But
no, it's
yeah,
fair.
the Texans are really missing Stroud. I mean,
He should be back this week.
yeah, you could. I mean, he is the MVP of this team. I was gonna say you can almost argue he is the MVP, but no. But he'll be back this week. I mean, concussion protocols kind of a bitch. You usually don't
Yeah,
see it taking 2 weeks, but did for him. So I'm excited for him to get back. Um, but yeah, I mean, what else is there to say beyond this? I mean, Browns defense
not much.
elite. Flacco, 2 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he's guaranteed to throw a pick, but he's gonna put up 400 yards doing it. So he's like
Yeah.
he's like a better Jameson. Who is it? Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. That's actually a great comparison. He's just like the
yeah,
older, wiser version. And he's
right.
just like,
It's
you know
like
what?
maybe I
Someone
shouldn't go
system's
that way.
open.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah.
All right, next game. Packers Panthers. Man, oh man, these games.
Ooh.
So a lot of these games are just they didn't turn out how you think they would. I mean, Panthers probably should have beat the Packers or at least tied it up and make it go into overtime. I believe they had a failed um, spike, like they spiked it and it hit zero at the same time to go kick a
Yeah.
field goal, a game time field goal,
Yeah.
which sucks. I mean, Bryce Young had his best game of the year, 23 for 36, 312, and two
Yeah.
tutties.
It was
That's pretty dang
significantly
good.
better.
Yeah, and
I
and I
I
don't think
definitely
the Pack.
ragged on him the
Yeah,
last couple of weeks, just saying like he's missing
well,
throws,
you
but
have to.
he missed less throws this week. Like he
Yeah,
actually was hitting some guys, and I was like,
right,
hey,
right.
that's a first overall pick caliber
Yeah,
throw
there you
right
go. I
there.
mean,
Like, there you go,
and the
Bryce.
Packers defense isn't terrible. Kind of some
Oh,
key members for the Panthers here. I mean, DJ Chark really kind of. I haven't talked about this guy all season. I was looking at the fantasy stats for this, and I was like, DJ Chark, what? 6 receptions, 100 yards, two tutties. Like, good for him, man. Usually you're seeing Thielen out of this team, so it looks like somebody at least, someone else at least, um, kind of rose to the top for this team. But
no, 100%. And for the Packers, Aaron Jones, hey, welcome
right,
back. Give
I
me
know
some.
he's been hurt all year, and then playoffs. It's like fantasy playoffs
Yeah,
come, and these people just turn it up a notch. It's crazy. It's almost
yeah.
like they're playing
No,
fantasy football.
they probably are. It'll be the one thing with Green Bay. So they still have a chance at the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see how they look when they get Jaden Reed and Christian Watson back, because
Yeah,
they, like a couple weeks back when they had everyone healthy, they actually looked like pretty good. So we'll see how they end the season here in the last 2 weeks.
yeah. The Packers. I like the Packers going forward. Not this year. They're not ready. But this is such a young squad that they're gonna be really good in the next few years, I think,
No,
as they
100%.
age together. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of fight with the Lions to take the North. I think it'll be
Ooh,
a real good matchup
for
in
sure.
the coming years. All right, Seahawks Titans. Wow, what a
Nice.
game! What a game, huh?
I just about gave me another heart attack in
It's the
typical
Seahawks
Seahawks
way,
fashion.
man. Yeah,
Yep. I'm getting gray hairs, more and more gray hairs by the minute. But
right. So
we come
pretty
back
cool
and
stat,
win. Thank you, Colby Parkinson. We
right?
appreciate you.
Right. Pretty cool stat from this game. Seahawks are now the was the first team in like 20 years or since 1999 to have two different QBs lead game-winning drives. You see that?
Oh, I did not see that.
Drew Lock,
But
Geno Smith. Yeah.
both of those scores were exactly the same too. We beat the
Oh
Eagles 20 to
yeah.
17.
Oh
We beat
yeah.
the Titans 20 to 17. Look at
That's
that.
crazy. Yeah, so how do you feel about the Seahawks team? Let's talk a little bit
Ugh.
about this. I think this is a team that can get into the playoffs. Our last two games pretty winnable, obviously. We'll get into the playoffs, and then I mean, do you see us winning the next two games at least?
So we get the Steelers at home this week, and then we play the Cardinals. I think we'll win both of those games, so I think we'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
I
But
just
yeah, how do we do?
I mean I just don't see how this team wins a game in the playoffs. Like it's the
A game?
same a game. We haven't won a playoff game in like at least 5 or 6 years because it's the same stuff, dude. It doesn't matter if we win the division, doesn't matter if we get in the wild card. We just go up, we play down to the team's level that we're playing against, and we get eliminated. Like we make a pseudo comeback where everyone's going rah 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 on the sidelines and it doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, guess what? We're packing up our lockers and we're saying, "See you boys in Cancun." So I just don't think there's enough firepower there. Maybe they could get a surprise. I don't think. Uh,
Yeah,
they could be a 6 seed if the Rams were to lose a game and we win our two. They could go in as a 6 seed, which means we would get probably Detroit, and we did beat Detroit in Detroit earlier this year, but
right.
because we're the lowest seed, guess what that victory gets us? Oh, okay, a date with the 49ers in Santa Clara. We all know how that's going to end, dude. Like it doesn't it's not going to change. We're not better than the 49ers. We're never going to beat that team with our current construction of their
So
roster. So like,
yeah,
could we hang with them like we did last year in the playoff game? Yeah, of course. We could keep it close with the 49ers, but beating them outright, I don't know. So in conclusion, like I could see a possibility where we win a game. I just don't think we will. I'm so over just the current coaches on the team, the play calling. I just think they need a complete refresh. I don't think they need to completely wipe the slate with the roster, but I just think they need new philosophies and new ideas if they
sure.
want to take the next step.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I think they need some juice. I think, the way we've been doing things is definitely been outdated. But in regards to how I think this year can finish out, I think we get into the playoffs and we're likely to face three teams: the Eagles, the Cowboys, or Detroit. We beat two of those teams.
We
Yep.
did.
You're pretty damn close to beating a third of, all three of those teams, the Cowboys. So I'm not worried about the first game we play. I think we beat all of them. I mean, yes, it'll be at home, which will give an edge for them. They'll be at their home. But
Right.
the first game I think is doable. And then I think we could shock the world a little bit. We go and play the Niners. This will be our third matchup. We lost to them twice, but we've also seen kind of a recipe on how to beat the Niners. Get Brock Purdy flustered, and he will be making mistakes. That's all you
So
gotta do. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
you think there's a possibility where we make like a Giants type run where we come in as a sixth seed and shock the
Yeah.
world and then
I
we
mean, it's kind
then
of
we
funny because I did compare us to the Giants last episode of K Dog, and he said, "Oh, the
yep.
Giants team is much better than the Seahawks." And look at that Giants team. I can name Eli Manning. Was it Victor Cruz?
I don't even think Cruz was on the team. It's Plaxico Burris,
There you go, Plaxico Burris. I think
and he
Plaxico
shot
Burris.
himself with a gun, bro.
Oh, I was gonna say now he's on the Eric Andre show, and like,
Oh, I mean that too, but
but yeah, I think we can make a run. I'm confident in this team. But if we don't, then I'm ready to go next year. With a new
yeah,
coaching staff, obviously.
no, I feel that. I feel that.
But back to this game. It was funny.
I don't. Yeah,
I was texting Prophet Jay, and he was like, "Man, Derrick Henry looks 10 years younger." And he did. This run defense, it's never been our calling card.
No,
But
Henry showed he's still got some
yeah,
juice
and
left in the tank. I don't know how
I mean,
much, but
it's funny because like I think the Rams Saints game when we talked about it last week, it was like I think K Dog was like the Rams need to kind of separate themselves from a team like the Saints. A bad team. You got to beat the bad teams bigly,
yeah,
right? And it's like I don't think the Seahawks are capable of doing that. It's just
no,
they beat every team by a little. It's almost like
yep.
UW Huskies. You beat every team but by three.
It's all
Well,
it's all related. Whatever
yeah,
college team is in your town, that's what your pro team is going to do when they win.
basically.
And
The Titans are not a good team. We should be blowing
no,
them out. We should be winning by 17 points.
but
And
I
we
will
just
say this: they did have Tannehill back as their quarterback, so that I would say that
you
changes
think
things a
that
little
helped
bit. Like
them or hurt them?
I think it helped them. I think it really
Really?
helped them. Like Levis, I feel like Levis is just still kind of wild. Like he's just kind of an unknown. With Tannehill, you're going to get someone that can control the game. I was going to call him a crafty vet. He's not crafty, but he's like a veteran that knows how stuff works in the NFL. He
I
can run a
guess
team.
so.
Is his arm there? Not anymore. But I mean,
Uh,
I still feel
but
like he's a competent quarterback. And
when you're Yeah.
I don't know.
When
Go ahead.
DeAndre Hopkins has 2 receptions, I think that quarterback does not know how to run the team. You should be throwing it. If I had DeAndre Hopkins on my flag football team, I would throw it to him every down.
Or maybe DeAndre Hopkins is just so deep in Mike Jackson's pocket when he's hitting the Thriller dance on him that he just can't get free and loose for Tannehill
Hell
to hit
yeah.
him.
Hell yeah. All
Yeah,
right, let's go on to the next game. Colts Falcons, 10-29. The Falcons take it. Shout out to K Dog. He did call this game. Falcons. And Prophet J and myself had the Colts. I would love to ask him why he did that. Maybe it's because Falcons were at home. They've been pretty good there. I mean, you could speak on the Falcons. I know that.
yeah. I would like to not speak on the Falcons actually, but
Okay,
um,
let's not do that.
yeah. No,
I think,
I don't really have anything to say on this one other
yeah,
than
this team, or I just feel like this game
but
kind of
the
just got
Colts
away
don't have
from
any
its goal.
healthy receivers because
Yeah,
Pittman didn't play with the concussion.
uh, yeah. So
So
that's probably an easy, sneaky kind of game to pick right there.
yeah, and
So
the
yeah, let's
Falcons'
just
offense just looks better with Heineke at quarterback. I know Prophet J had the hard on for Desmond Ritter at
right.
the start of the season, but
Yeah,
and Ritter shined a little bit, like in a couple of games, but still, I mean, it's just like if you want a competent offense, you need someone that can throw the football well, and
yeah,
Heineke manages that. So
yeah. All right, Dolphins. Cowboys.
Calvins, what
Cowboys
noise? What noise does a Calvin make?
Dolphins. All right, Cowboys Dolphins. 22-20. Dolphins take this one. And I'm real pissed off at K-Dog because this was supposed to be the game I could take over him. He was supposed to pick the Cowboys. I take the Dolphins, and I get a game. But no, he had to
Gotcha.
be smart and logical, pick the Dolphins. And, it turned out to be the right move. Um, it was kind of weird. I expected after we saw the Bills game, I think we all kind of expected the Dolphins to just try to run all over them, and that's not what happened.
Did not happen at all.
Mustard 11 for 46, Achan quiet this game 7 for 24. That's not really what you are expecting to see out of Achan.
Yeah,
But
kind of
yeah, that
weird.
right, that rushing game was off, but they also have the weapons in the receiving. Tyreek Hill 9 for 99, so not quite 100. You got to kind of bump those numbers up there, but everyone else
Yeah,
played
this,
it back.
this was kind of weird. Every time,
I
every
hate,
time I feel like the Dolphins had the ball, they would
yeah,
throw like a bomb and then get like a 40-yard play to someone, and
yeah.
then they would just do nothing the next three plays and then kick a field goal. Like,
Wait a
I
second.
swear that was just the same thing on repeat. And
I, I
and I mean, I
thought,
think Sanders had 4 or 5 field goals.
yeah,
He had
something like
5.
that. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
stats
So
right now. I thought Chosen Anderson was off this team.
I yeah, maybe they brought him
He
back.
was 1 for
He had
19.
one catch. Yeah, he had one catch, and then he got a concussion, and so
Well,
now
because
he
I
probably
have the graphic. Wait, he got a concussion
yeah
too.
yeah
I
he got
have
a
the graphic, and
concussion.
I was like, crap. I'm gonna have to take Chosen Anderson off this. But it looks like I can keep him on. Jalen Waddle. I just want to highlight him. 1 for
Dude,
50. and then he got his eye gouged out, and then he like broke his arm or leg or something. I'm never drafting this guy in a fantasy football league
Dude,
ever
it
again.
just doesn't make any sense. He's so
Ever
good,
again.
but
He's
he
so
gets
fragile.
injured every game.
And
Every game I see this guy limping. I see him
well,
on the sideline coughing. He's jumping up on the massage table. Like
right?
like what's wrong with this guy?
It's
Like,
stupid.
is he just made
Um,
of paper mache?
but I
Like
think
I don't know.
Tua, if you ever watch Tua throw to Jalen, it's just like he throws the biggest hospital balls. Every
He
play, he's
does.
getting smacked. And it just doesn't
No,
happen
he
to
does.
Tyreek Hill because Tua underthrows him so much, but Tyreek Hill just runs right underneath it, and he's so fast that the two guys coming to sandwich him he just disappears and they sandwich, they hit each other and he's just out of there. But Jalen Waddle is just, I guess this is not the same way.
Yeah. No,
Pisses me
the
off.
other strange thing with this one for the Cowboys side was CD in the first quarter has like 5 catches for 90 something yards, and he ends the game with 6 catches for 118. Like
Yeah,
what are we doing, fam?
that's not
Like what?
good, man.
Just pepper the guy. I
I
mean, yeah, Ramsey was probably on him. I mean, I
still
was watching this game kind of halfway through, but yeah, it's like still what are we
I
doing?
don't
It's not
think
like
you should.
Ramsey's in his prime anymore.
Yeah, I think like for Dak, it's like, dude, you know how people are like, okay, this cornerback is on your receiver. You got to almost think of it like, yo, CeeDee Lamb's on Ramsey. Like,
Yeah,
you should
I
still
agree.
go to him. You have CeeDee
Target
Lamb.
that guy, man. He's
Uh,
disgustingly good. I mean, he
so,
had like that. He had like the 40-something yard touchdown where he just outran everyone. And as someone that owned Dak and fantasy, I was going nuts for it. But he would like seriously. It's like, dude, just get the ball in this guy's hands. He's so
yeah,
good.
I don't understand why these people don't have 15 to 20 targets a game.
It should be automatic. Like
Yeah,
that should be the first thing in the offensive coordinator's game plan is how do I
absolutely,
get the ball to CD Lamb at least 12
absolutely.
times? You know,
Doesn't make sense. I would do the same with McCaffrey. He would have 15 targets and 15 carries every game. It would be,
probably in a half with how high his utilization is. Like,
I, uh, but
no kidding.
whatever.
But and the only
Oh,
other thing I would mention for Dallas is just the lack of confidence in Tony Pollard is really starting to show because they were at the 2 yard line and they tried to run a fullback dive and they fumbled and they like that arguably cost them the game. They lose by 2
yeah,
points.
he's gone
So
next year, right?
I mean, you would think either that
Yeah,
or they offer him like a contract on the just next
yeah,
to nothing because his value is just rock bottom.
yeah. It's really sad because I know a lot of people were really high on him.
That's
And
me. I'm one of the other people. I was
well,
high on him.
I don't want to fault you though because I understand where you're coming from, but everything that was like a con against him, oh, he's too small, he's never had a full workload, blah blah blah. It's just like all that shit came true,
Yeah.
and what can you do? I don't know. He should have been a guy, and just didn't turn out that way. So,
Yeah, tough. But
anyways,
it is what it is.
Cardinals Bears 16 to 27. Bears take this one. You got anything to say on this one?
Nope. Absolutely nothing.
I expected more out of Kyler and McBride,
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
that's
Bears defense has been playing a lot better since they
yeah,
got
Bears defense.
Montez Sweat.
I know you had a predicament where you were trying to figure out who you wanted to start. How did that turn out? I know you had, I think it was Fields. Is that right?
Yeah, so I was between Fields and Dak. I started Dak. Fields scored 6 more points. So I
Uh,
mean,
I mean,
whatever there. But
I gave
it
you,
didn't matter.
yeah. Oh, did well? I mean,
It
I
didn't
gave you
matter.
that
No.
advice, so
I
I'll
was
take that.
actually playing Broncos fan 42069
Oh,
in the semis of our league, and unfortunately
yeah.
for him, fortunately for me, half of his team ended up on IR after this week.
Oh
So
no, dude.
I could
Uh,
have not started a quarterback and I would have won.
yeah,
Um, but yeah,
nice.
so
Well, Cardinals move closer and closer to drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. Can't wait.
oh,
And the Bears still what have top two or
they
top?
still have the first overall pick. They
They
keep
still have the
winning and they still have
first.
the first. Yeah, because
This is the
it's
Pan
the Panthers
and then they have like
and
what the sixth pick or something, maybe
something like that.
fifth.
Well, it's probably gotten better. I mean, they're 6-9, so
Yeah.
they're
So
the Bears could still technically make the playoffs. As weird as that is.
so Justin Fields. Is he staying on the Bears? What do you think?
I would stick with him. I would stick with him for
I
another
would
year.
too. I think he's a great quarterback.
I mean, they're
Uh,
winning. Like
my loyalty
they
was a little tested in the beginning of the season, but
yeah
I do think he's good.
yeah.
But you're
No, I
right, they're
think
winning. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, they go on that big losing streak when they bring in Bajente, but like
true.
that's it.
So
So
do the Cardinals take Marvin Harrison or do they take Caleb? What do you think? Like, do they get rid of
I don't
Kyler? I hear that
know.
that's been going on.
I don't think either of those teams. I don't think the Cardinals and I don't think the Bears are going to take
Caleb.
Caleb Williams. I think
Yeah.
they're going to stay where they're at and get either a weapon like Marvin, get offensive line help, do something like that. I feel like
Yeah.
a team that's going to get Caleb Williams is going to be like the Giants or the Patriots or someone like that.
I almost want to bet like $100 that the first two picks the Cardinals make are Marvin Harrison Jr. and then the best offensive lineman off the board.
Yeah,
Like,
that's probably a smart bet.
yeah, like they're kind of just missing. I mean, they got what? Marquise Brown, and then they have Michael Wilson. I mean, none of these guys are really like stepping up beyond McBride.
Yeah,
And I think Murray is still your quarterback of the future because
100%.
I know he's not playing great, but he's not playing for anything. So I think that has a factor. He's kind of playing to just get home and then play some Modern Warfare. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but
Yeah,
like
like that'll
this
get you.
this team isn't in any position to do anything with a win, so I don't think it matters.
No, I agree.
All right. Speaking of Broncos fan for 2069, I meant to say that like 5 minutes ago before I went on a tangent. Patriots Broncos, what a game! So I
Uh,
actually so I didn't watch this game at all when it was occurring, but I watched highlights of it and today on YouTube. And I want to say the highlight of the game was probably the Broncos jerseys. That white helmet on the orange looks
look pretty
pretty
sick.
amazing.
I'm not gonna lie.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Everything else was hot trash. So bad on both sides.
Yeah. Jerry Judy's bad. Like I used to be on the Jerry Judy train as like he's a good receiver. I don't think he's a good receiver anymore. Like he'd be
Man.
open. If he was a good receiver, he'd be open. And yeah, I don't know. Like play call, I think the Broncos honestly should have won this game, but like in the fourth quarter, like with the game on the line, Sean Payton's calling screens left and right, like he's like a 6-year-old that's just touching Madden for the first time. So like
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. This was a sham. It was also funny that to see there was like a side by side reaction I saw of Bailey Zappi and Bill Belichick when the field goal went in, and Bailey
Yeah.
Zappi's celebrating like he just won the Super Bowl, and Bill Belichick just like looks like he's a prison guard that doesn't give
It's like
two
on to
shits.
the next one, yeah.
Yeah, he just doesn't care that they just won the game. So,
I mean, he's probably like,
yeah, I don't know.
crap, our pick's worse now. Great.
Yeah, or
I still have
crap,
to have
the next coach's
Zappy.
pick is worse.
Oh, sure. I mean, the Chargers pick is gonna be pretty bad too. So,
Yeah, but
uh,
so
but
yeah, I don't know. Weird
Ba-
game, man. Weird
yeah,
game.
Bailey Zappi. I don't think he played all bad. I kind of think he's bad, but he did decent. Like
I agree.
do they keep rolling with him like next year? They're
No.
drafting a quarterback? They have to, right? Yeah, they're probably gonna get May or
Well,
something.
I mean, there's a certain Broncos quarterback that's on the free agent
Are
list
are
now.
we diving into that? I
I
cannot
mean,
I cannot believe what has
I mean,
transpired in the last
I
like
feel like we
24
should.
hours. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
dive into it. Russell Wilson, man.
News
What's
broke
going on
about an
here?
hour ago now that Russell
Yeah.
Wilson is going to be getting
Cut.
cut in
Cut.
March.
Why? So
Cut.
can you rationalize this for me? I don't understand why.
No,
What's going on? Break it
bro,
down. You can't.
they just gave him like 150 million dollars, and now they're
For
just
for how
saying
many years too?
I I don't have the number off the top of my head, but a
Yeah.
lot.
More than,
And they're
he played last year, played this year, more than 3 years. So
yeah, and they're skirting out of the
do you
contract.
do you
They're
think it's a
saying
locker room type of thing? Because I don't think he's been playing bad at all.
he's been really efficient this year. I just don't think the
Yeah.
offense ever scores more than 20 points. And I don't know who that's on. I don't
And
know if that's on
I
him.
don't think
I
that's
don't know if that's
Russell
on
Wilson.
Peyton. Because I
Maybe
mean,
this
you got
is
to think too. Like Sean Payton was retired. They trade. The way the Broncos run their team is just weird. They're trading for coaches. Like I don't
I never understood that either. I didn't know you could trade for
never
your
understand that. But you bring in a guy like Sean Payton. I don't think Sean Payton really wanted to be the coach of the Broncos. They gave him a fat contract too. So if you're retired and someone's like, "Hey, I'll pay you like $60 million," are you gonna say no to that? I don't think anyone's gonna say no to that.
right.
So like you got to think, is he invested in it really? Russ, he was corny as hell last year. They bring in Hackett, like that. That was just the dumpster fire waiting to happen. So I don't
Yeah.
fault them at all last year. But no, I agree. Like you bring in Peyton, you have a new coaching system, and he's been efficient this year. I just think
Right.
they have a weapons issue because they like Sutton is
Yeah, I
there.
agree.
Sutton is older, and he tore his ACL a couple years ago. He got injured in this one with the concussion. So easily injured guy.
Right.
You have Judy, who I already slandered as like someone that I just don't think he's good. They had Tim Patrick, who he didn't even play a snap because he tears his ACL in the preseason.
Yeah.
Now you look at their running backs. You got Javante, who's coming off a complete knee reconstruction surgery. You got Jaleel McLaughlin, Prophet Jay's favorite player. So I mean, like, yeah, and your tight ends, I don't even know Troutman. I don't even know
No,
who these guys
there's a
are.
different one. There was a Krut or a Kraut or something.
Yeah, like so you insert like a generic white NPC player, and it's just like
Yeah.
I just don't see how the team is set up for success. I mean, even we can slander. I mean, we watched all the years on the Seahawks when Russ has like he's throwing to Ricardo Lockett in the Super Bowl with the game on the line. It's like so
Right.
those weapons aren't great either. But at the same time, you got a prime Lynch, you got Doug Baldwin who had hands. Jermaine Kearse
Yeah.
wasn't horrible in the NFL. Lockett, like you had weapons out there that were decent. Jimmy Graham at tight end. So
Yeah.
at least his supporting cast was better. Like I mean, he truly he's just playing with bums out here. Like I just don't. So I don't think the team was ever really set up for success, but it seems really rash. I mean, honestly though, if maybe it doesn't seem rash, if they just want to wipe the slate clean, you might as well just rip the Band-Aid off and just start over from scratch. Like if that's the route that they're wanting to take, and it looks like that's the route that they are going to take, just rip off the Band-Aid. You're going to go on the hole all this money. Just pay the guy the money, wash your hands with it, and be done. Like start over from scratch. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I feel bad. I do feel bad. Like I know as Hawks fans, we're kind of happy that we fleeced them, and it's arguably the second best trade or worst trade, depending on how you look at it, in NFL history for a quarterback, right behind the Deshaun Watson one. But I feel bad for a franchise to go through that because being in Seattle as Mariners fans, we know what it's like to have a franchise that just sucks. Like it doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter who you acquire, you just suck. And I feel
right.
like that's the Broncos are they won the Super Bowl with Peyton, and they're kind of entering that phase where it's just like we did our best. We tried to draft quarterbacks with Paxton Lynch and Drew Lock. That didn't work. We got rid of them. We tried trading for someone that looked like he was going to be a Hall of Fame lock, an All Pro guy. That didn't work. So it's like now where do you go? You just got to wipe the slate clean. Try to find a franchise guy that you can build around and hope for the best. But
Yeah. Well, Russ is getting older, but he was supposed to be that guy that you found and we're supposed to build around.
yeah,
And I honestly, I think Russ is probably breathing a sigh of relief. He's like, oh, fine, I'm off of this shit ass team. Like this Broncos team that they're not even giving me any weapons. I can't even be my corny ass self around here. I think he's looking forward to the next team he goes
unlimited.
to. I've actually
What?
got a smoking hot take from one of my fantasy leagues.
Oh,
I'm about to read off here. So one of our guys here has Russ to the Jets as Aaron
oh,
Rodgers backup,
oh.
and then
I don't
Zach
know about
Wilson to the
that.
LA Rams.
What the? Okay, all
I
right.
know,
Let's
I know,
let's
right?
let's
I
cool
know.
that furnace down a little bit. I
But
actually. Oh, go ahead.
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I actually think a team where he could be a fit is the Commanders.
Commanders, I do like that actually. I was gonna say the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons are looking
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
QB, and I think, like to me, this is not Russ's fault. I guess I have that little tiny part of my heart where I'm like, I'm still a Russ fan at the
We
end of the
love the
day.
guy. We love the guy. I mean,
What he brought to the city, he brought us our first Super Bowl. We went back to back, should have had two. Um, we do love the guy. I never wanted him to do badly, and I think, like going forward, I think he's gonna find like his spot on a different team
yeah.
that is just gonna build around him like the Broncos should have. And I think the Falcons, the Falcons I see landing three possible QBs: Kyler Murray, Justin Fields,
Oh,
or Russ Wilson. And
yeah, I like that.
I think they're missing one QB. I don't. I would love if Arthur Smith just like fell off the face of the earth. But I think Russell Wilson in that offense would be dynamite, you know. He could take them all the way, and I think that's a good defense. I think Russ has always played with good defenses.
Yeah.
And that would just kind of like wrap everything together for him. A good offense where QB is missing, and then a good defense. And it could look kind of crazy down there next year.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
we'll see.
he will be going to one of these teams though, like one of these teams that needs a quarterback. I mean, he could go to the Patriots for all we know. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Good.
He
Could go to the
plays
Steelers.
he plays the bank. He plays the Broncos in the Super Bowl and wins, and then he plays the Patriots in the Super Bowl and loses, and then he plays for both those teams. That would be nuts.
Yeah, that'd be wild. But
I don't know.
we'll see.
At the end of the day, I'm just looking forward to the fiasco that is the Russell Wilson, you know,
Very true.
story. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. This is a great game to talk about. The Raiders beat the Chiefs 20-14 at home for the Chiefs.
Wee. Yeah, they
Taylor
did.
Swift himself, I mean herself. That's crazy.
Yeah, take that. Take that, Swifties.
Take that L. That's all
Yeah,
I
this
gotta
was
say.
this,
All
this
right,
game
next
was. Well, all
game.
I would say is Aiden O'Connell didn't complete a pass after the first quarter, and they won.
Yeah, that was
So
nuts. I think it was He was
I
0
mean,
for 10.
yeah,
And he had I think
th-
it was three kneel downs in that win. But that defense really stepped up for the Raiders. Wow, like defensive touchdowns. They're making Mahomes just mad back there.
yeah. No, dude,
And I
Mahomes looks season. And it's funny because now other people are starting to get frustrated too. Like I don't know if you saw Kelsey blow up on the sidelines and like
Oh, I
slam
did,
his
yeah.
helmet like yeah. Oh, I loved it. I drank that in. I
I
drank that
know,
in
I did.
like fucking Kool-Aid, man. I love that.
Uh,
Like inject that stuff straight into my veins. Cry more. Cry,
I know,
please.
I
I
love
beg
it
you.
too, man. I think they're more that franchise is more insufferable than the Patriots when they were like,
Oh, dude, 100%.
yeah,
100%. They just feel so entitled. And I know Prophets mentioned it before, but like every time Mahomes runs near the boundary line, like he's immediately looking for the official when he gets pushed. He's like,
right?
he had it
No,
down late 15 yards. It's like, yeah, dude,
yeah.
friggin' shove it up your cram hole, Kermit. Like, I'm so done with this guy.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of
good
wild to
riddance.
like because early in the season, maybe half the first half of the season, you could just obvious. I feel like there's an obvious officiating favoritism going on, right?
Yeah.
Or am I crazy there? And then there
No.
was been some
No, there
sort of
is.
switch, you know, like, and I want to maybe look back and try to pinpoint it down, but it's just like they were so beloved, and then there's the switch, and now everyone hates them. The officials hate him, the league hates them. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, but last year the league wouldn't let the Chiefs lose to the Raiders at home
No.
this late in the
They
season.
didn't. Look at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
The league won the Chiefs Super Bowl. Okay. I'm a little biased because I lost money on that game, but I stand by the fact that that was so rigged, bro. That was the softest holding call of all time.
yeah.
And yeah, they let him get away with robbery. So
Yep. I think they got what was coming for them. Everything's caught up. Nobody likes any
yeah,
more
good
Chiefs.
riddance.
A big part of it probably was the whole Taylor Swift thing and how obviously it was a money grab sort of thing. And it's just everyone's just so fed up with it. And I think it's actually probably now making them more money that they're losing than they would be if they're winning because everyone loves when they lose now.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I gotta say. Well, actually, we can talk about their interim head coach. I think he's going to stick around. I think he'll be the head coach
Antonio
next season.
Pierce. Hey,
Antonio
we'll get
Pierce.
into that. We'll get into that a little bit later. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. I
Yeah.
like that. All right, let's move on to the next one. 25 to 33. The Giants lose to the Eagles. Closer game than you would have thought. Tommy DeVito, I think his 15 minutes of fame are over. Now we got Tyrod
See you
Taylor
later.
coming to the next game. Yep. Dude, that asshole, man.
Have fun on those dating apps in your mom's basement,
Did you
Tommy.
hear about the whole like pizzeria thing where
I did hear about that. Yeah.
yeah, what a chump. And then he ends up and going and doing it for free after everyone was like shitting
Yeah.
on him for it.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't have much.
I get it. Like you're poor. You didn't get like you
He's
couldn't cash
poor,
in on the
dog.
NIL stuff. Well, okay, you know what I mean. Like comparatively to other
It doesn't
NFL people.
matter, man.
Look, man, he's got his 5 seconds of fame. He's trying to work it. Like
Well,
he's trying to do the business stuff. I don't agree with
yes,
it, but he's
but
trying to do the
he
business
sh-
stuff.
he should have been like, yes, I will take that. I actually he should have upfront been like, I'll do it for free because I would get him more fame than turning it down and expecting more money. That's just
Well, you
like
know
in
what?
this day and age where social media runs like the political kind of atmosphere and
Yeah.
like the morality check of everything. Like you have to be kind of like spotless in this sort
Well,
of like
he's not anymore. So,
reality.
but
Oh
he
yeah,
also
yeah. I mean he's out of the picture now.
no one will care about him anymore. He's gone. So
Yeah. I really don't have anything to say about this game. I mean,
no,
Eagles won.
Eagles
That's
won. Fly Eagles
it.
fly.
Fly Eagles fly. Okay, game of the week, baby. What was it?
Ooh.
Ravens beat the Niners 33 to 19. This was a good
Oh
game.
yeah.
This was a defensive game early on. And then the Ravens just kind of, did I say Raiders earlier?
You might have, but I'm so excited at the fact that the 49ers lost that I heard Ravens. So
I might cut that out. Ravens beat the 49ers. And uh, like the last half of this game was just such a thrashing by the
oh,
Ravens. It was
dude, it
incredible.
was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch.
Already 4 interceptions. Uh, need I say more?
About damn time, dude. I hated the fact that he was the MVP frontrunner. Like that was the biggest
Me
fraudulent thing I've
too.
ever seen in my life. And now like he went from minus 150 or 175 before the game to he's like plus 1300 now. Like he
Yeah.
has like the sixth or seventh best odds. He just completely tanked his thing,
Yeah.
which oh, thank God.
I
Thank
don't
God.
I I can't quite understand why I don't like Brock Purdy. Because you would think with
It's because he plays for the 49ers.
I
Like realistically that's it.
the story he has, the last pick in the draft, he came in almost he got them to the playoffs last year, could have potentially got him to a Super Bowl if he didn't get hurt. He's been playing incredible this season. Like, why wouldn't I love this? I don't understand. But every time I see his face, it's just so
Okay.
punchable.
Let me set this on a different stage. Let's say like there's a similar thing where there's like okay, you know like the Michael Orr story
Yeah.
from like the Blind Side. Okay, imagine like that happens, but it's a quarterback and he's attending the University of Oregon. Are you gonna like the story
Oh,
or not? Yeah. See,
gross.
that's what I'm
Well,
saying. It's the team.
to be fair, I do like Justin Herbert though. But that
I
may be
hate you.
because he's not that might be because he's not at Oregon anymore. But I mean, even looking at like Bo Nix, I mean, I like Bo Nix as a guy. Like he seems like a great dude.
I guess that's fair.
Hate his guts as a player. But yeah, wow, Ravens I think it's kind of what I talked about earlier. That elite
You
defense.
called this, didn't you?
I absolutely did call this.
Yeah, you
We
did.
I might put a clip up on a reel or something. But I did say, Brock Purdy, if he gets pressured by this Ravens defense, he's gonna be, kind of putting I don't know, help me out here.
Putting
Putting
a
a bind,
blender. Putting a
putting
bind.
a blender,
I
whatever you
love how
want
we
to
just
say.
switched. We both said different things and then we repeated it and just switched.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, he was putting a blender. I mean, you throw 4 picks. I mean, a couple of them probably weren't
tough
his
scenes, man.
fault, but it still caused him a lot of I don't know about maybe anxiety, a lot of pressure on his mind to throw the right passes going forward. So this defense
Yeah.
just kind of like chomped down on him and forced him to elevate his game, and he just couldn't. So
No, 100%. I
great.
do have one note on this though, and
Yep.
this is I teased this earlier. This is the conspiracy theory that like the
Oh yeah.
Illuminati conspiracy theory I found on TikTok today. So, and you'll like this. I actually kind of enjoyed this one when I was
All
reading
right.
it. So, 49ers have lost 4 games this year, right?
Yep.
In three of those games they scored 17 points. Now listen to this.
Wow.
First game they lose is to the Cleveland Browns. They lose 19-17. The following week, what happens to the Cleveland Browns quarterback, Deshaun Watson? Oh yeah, he gets ruled out for the entire
Oh
season.
no, dude.
Now their second loss comes to the Minnesota Vikings. They lose
Oh
22
no.
to 17. They score 17 points again. The following week, Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles, out for the season. Their third loss of the season against Cincinnati Bengals, they lose 31 to 17. They score 17 points again. What happens the following week? Oh yeah, Joe Burrow busts up his wrist, out for the season.
Wow.
So this week they lose 33 to 19. They score 19 points. Why am I highlighting 19? In the other previous losses, they scored 17. The following week, the starting quarterback for the team that beat them is out for the season. This week they scored 19. Why? Because the umpire, the official, is a time traveler, and he knew that, and so he trips Lamar in the end zone, causing the safety, which gives
Oh,
the 49ers 19 points instead of
oh,
17. So
what?
the official saves Lamar's season. He saves the MVP
Whoa.
campaign. He's from the
Oh my
future. He tripped
God.
him up in the end zone on purpose for the
It
safety.
was perfect.
Yeah. So it
Dude,
results
that's
in
why he was
saving
laughing
Lamar.
after that.
They
He did
see?
like, he was like, hell yeah, I did my job. I did it. Oh my
I
God, that's
I told you
actually
there's
crazy, dude.
there's some Illuminati stuff right there. That was like
Oh,
in the depths of TikTok, but I found that and I
that's
was like, no, this is
fine,
this is
man.
too clowny.
That needs
Like,
to be brought to the forefront. I love
yeah.
shit like that.
So,
Whew.
but anyways,
Thank you, umpire. That's amazing.
yeah. What's up? But that's
Wow.
it. That's all I got for this game.
All right. Well, with that, that's our Week 16 recap, and let's take a look at our standings going into Week 17. We got 2 more weeks, people, for these pick'ems. So K Dog leading the pack here, 146 wins to 94 losses. I'm bringing up the middle with 144 wins to 96 losses. And Prophet J is bringing up the rear with 141 wins to 99 losses. Um,
Getting
so
close. It's close.
really close. I think Prophet J is looking to bounce back this week. He's down 5 to K Dog right now. And I mean, myself, I need 2 wins. I need 3 wins here. So we might see a lot of little upset picks going on, which might
Ooh.
separate K Dog from us even further, or might put us up front. So I'm looking
Okay.
forward to getting into our Week 17 pick'ems. But
Oh yeah.
first, we're gonna take a break. How about that?
That sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you? All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, smokers. How was your break? How was your break? Ours was great. During that break, Prophet J whispered in my ear and said, "Hey, you forgot to talk about what I had to say about the Niners versus Ravens." And you know what he wanted to say? Lamar looked fine. He said
Wow.
he looked fine even after that absolute dominance on the field. He looks fine. And maybe we want to break open the slang dictionary and read that fine actually means pretty sexy. Because
That's
I think he looked fine if that's the definition, right? But he is not Prophet J's MVP. So I said, "Who's your MVP, Prophet J?" And he says, "I fully believe if McCaffrey has 2 more incredible games, he should be the sole owner." And I think maybe was it Marshall Falk or who was it? I don't know. But they were talking about how they had won it. It wasn't Marshall Falk. They had won it as a co-owner with somebody else. Do you recall?
Oh, like two people won MVP the same year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a co-MVP.
I I don't know off the top of my head, but I can just about guarantee that that's not going to happen nowadays. But
You don't think so? Well, Prophet J had more to
no.
say. He said, "There's not been a consistent enough QB, and the fact that we use so much recency bias to determine the QB MVP is bleeping ridiculous and removes the purpose
Ooh,
of the reward." Which I agree with. It's like it's kind of who's the hot QB at the moment, because a lot of
yeah,
these QBs have peaks and
Russ.
valleys, maybe, but a lot of these QBs, they hit and miss, and it's just like who's gonna hit last? And I think
Yeah,
Lamar might not have necessarily been amazing during the whole season, but he is that QB who has been amazing right now. Just like Brock Purdy was amazing yesterday, and Dak was amazing the day before.
right.
But a guy like what Prophet Jay is saying is a guy like Christian McCaffrey has been amazing throughout the season. So it's like, why isn't this guy your
No,
MVP?
it's undoubtedly flawed, um, but we're not voters, so it's not like we could change
I
the
know.
system or anything. But I do agree. Like, if you want the most valuable player, it's McCaffrey. But
Yeah, and
he's
and to like further that point, I was talking to my brother-in-law. We talked about this kind of debate. It's like he asked me the question like who would be better for the team? The backup QB for the Niners, who would be like Sam Darnold
yeah,
if Brock Purdy was out, or the backup to McCaffrey, who is Elijah Mitchell, if McCaffrey is out. And if Elijah Mitchell was on that team instead of McCaffrey, it would be such a different team. It would be
you're
they would
right.
not be 11
They'd
4.
be
They would
undefeated, bro. No, I'm kidding.
they would probably be a 9 and 16, 9 and 17, whatever.
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like because McCaffrey is such a dominant player. He's making up so much of that offense, and he's almost like a escape route for Purdy. Sometimes I feel like you just give it to Purdy just needs to give it to McCaffrey and let him do what he does. Whereas if it was Sam Darnold instead of Brock Purdy, all Sam Darnold has to do is basically what Brock Purdy has been doing. Give it to your best players.
No, I agree. I 100% I agree. I just it sucks. It's like because they have the offensive player of the year award and it seems like that's just reserved for non-quarterbacks. And
Yeah,
it's like
I know.
MVP is going to a quarterback.
I
I
I
mean
could see it
if
changing.
Todd Gurley couldn't win MVP after that nutty season he had, like there's just no player's going to win MVP or no position player's going to win MVP, you know.
Yeah. All right.
But,
Well, after we got that out of the way, let's jump into our middle segment of this week.
oh yeah.
C-Dub, take it away,
So,
bud.
all right, so you know, we got New Year's coming up next week, and Coop, I want you to think. A lot of people. There's a little slogan that goes around on New Year's, and it's New Year's new. You go ahead and finish that for me. New Year's new.
Me.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what the saying is. So everyone's all on the we're gonna get new habits. We're gonna improve ourselves. All this fun junk, right?
That's right.
So this segment, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. This new segment, I'm gonna call this New Year's New Coach with a question
Okay.
mark at the end. So I got 10 teams here with their current coaches. I'm gonna run through them, and all I need you to do is to say either keep or fire, and that's it. So we're coming into they call it Black Monday. It's the first Monday after the regular season ends where all the
Right.
coaches get the axe, and we're coming up on it. So I went ahead and did some research into some coaches that are allegedly on the hot seat. I threw some
Okay.
some ones in there as well that I think could be on the hot seat, and I'm gonna run through the list here. And I just like I said, I just need you to say if you think that they should get another year or if they should get fired.
All right.
So our first one, we're just gonna do this in alphabetical order. We're gonna start in Atlanta with Arthur Smith. Would you keep Arthur Smith or would you fire Arthur Smith?
Fire him into the center of the universe where there's a gigantic black hole. But I know that they're going to keep him around. I don't know why.
Okay.
But absolutely, you got to fire the dude who does not know how to use his weapons correctly.
All right, totally fair. I mean, I'm in agreement. I too would fire Arthur Smith. What about Chicago and the Bears? Matt Eberflus. You keeping him or you cutting him?
This is an interesting one. I do think you cut him. It's not even interesting. You just cut him. I mean, well, I think maybe I say that because I feel like he maybe didn't get enough hate that he deserved like later on in the season.
Yeah,
I think early on in the season, people were calling for his head, but like that's quieted over the span of the season. I think maybe it's because people have like grown, like the mediocrity of the Bears has grown normal to them now. But yeah, I think he's also got to go.
he's in his second year, so you don't think he's had enough time, or you think he's had enough time, I should say, to implement his system, and it's just
I
not
think
working, not
when you
clicking.
have a quarterback, I think what's his freaking name?
Fields.
Justin Fields. Jesus. When you have a quarterback like Justin Fields and you cannot, I think he's a good quarterback, and you cannot adapt your system around him and what he does well. It's like just like last year. It's like, oh, Justin Fields can run the ball. What? Let's do
Yeah,
that. And then they
nah,
just
that's a good point.
dominate, and then they don't do it in the beginning of the season, and then they turn it on, and then they turn it off. It's like just do what your players can do. Like build around that. And if you can't have someone that consistently does that, then he needs to go.
I feel that. No, that's good. That's a good explanation.
Thank you.
Let's see. So we got, and we kind of touched on this guy a little bit earlier.
Oh, you're
But let's
keeping
go to Vegas. Vegas, Antonio Pierce, the
Antonio
interim
Pierce,
head coach.
my man. He's my favorite quarterback coach this season because he is a player's coach. I think these coaches that you elevate um, within your team that has been around the players or coaching the players, especially like a position that it's not like an OC or a
Right.
DC. It's like a positional coach knows these players so well and like what it takes to get them to come together and whatnot. I think this is a guy you got to keep around, especially with what he's done to turn around this team. I mean, they're 6-7. Are they 6-7? 7-7.
No, they
Regardless,
are 7 and 8.
7-8. Sorry,
Yeah.
we're further in the season than I recalled. 7-8. You kind of really turned around this team. You made this defense electric. And actually, this is something I want to touch on. I think this year really proves how dominant a great defense is in getting you far in the season. And I think
Yeah.
we'll see that a lot in playoffs. We see teams like the Browns, the Ravens, uh, you know, the Raiders. Like for one, the Browns do not have a good offense, in my opinion.
No.
I think that defense really keeps them in games. It's really elite. It really, it turns the ball over for the offense. Like when Joe Flacco throws 2 interceptions. Well, you're just putting your star-studded defense out there. It doesn't really matter because we know Flacco's going to throw for 400 yards. Doesn't matter if he turns it over twice because we got our defense out there. The Ravens, I think Prophet Jay would agree with me when I say the Ravens don't really have weapons beyond Lamar Jackson, and then
Right.
Gus Edwards. You got
Yeah, they're
AJ,
pretty banged up.
yeah, pretty banged up, but that defense is just amazing.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
And I never really bought into that whole defense wins championships thing until this season, where it's just absolutely proving that. Like if you have a great defense that can stop an offense, it doesn't matter how good your offense is. It's just got to be a little bit better than theirs.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
so
that's a good point.
so yeah,
That's a really good
definitely
point.
keep around Antonio Pierce
Okay,
after all that.
so we're keeping Mr. Pierce.
Yeah.
We got a couple more names here. What about Bill Belichick, the New England Patriots?
I am
Keeper cut.
so excited to see him on a different team. I think you cut him not because he's a bad coach, but I think it would just be so interesting for the storyline to see him on a different team, get him more weapons again. I mean, this is Bill Belichick. He's what cooking with Zappy, Mac Jones. Like he's got nobody. I mean, the defense is
No.
still great. He's always been a very defensive minded head coach, and I think that defense might not look great looking at scores, but it's only because that offense has just been so terrible. So get him a good offense. Like people are thinking the Chargers. I mean, get him the weapons. Give him a Justin Herbert. Austin, like if Austin Eckler comes back, it's not washed. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and then be able to shape up that defense with the names that are on there.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that's going to be a scary team next year if Bill Belichick arrives in town.
No, it'll definitely be interesting because I mean, obviously Brady leaves the Patriots, goes and wins the Super Bowl. Like, is that
Right.
same thing going to happen with Belichick? I don't know.
I would love that. It's a
It'll be
narrative.
interesting. So okay, that's four. Got a couple more on here. And we can cruise to this one. Washington, Ron Rivera. I think he's already getting fired. So I don't know why I put him on this list. But would
I
you fire Ron? Would you make the decision to say
I
goodbye?
would say yes, but I would feel bad doing it because I look at Ron as like that cool like wise uncle that
Oh,
he's a great dude,
he had
and
cancer too.
I know, and you love his story and all that, and I don't think he's a terrible coach or anything, but I don't even know. I mean, that one's kind of like more murky to me because is he actually
Oh,
bad? I don't know. Like, where is this narrative coming from that he should be fired?
that's true.
Oh,
Maybe it's just the
like,
Commanders suck. Like
yeah,
he
look at
really doesn't have
his
a role to
team.
play.
Like, has he ever really had great weapons beyond his time at with the Panthers?
Not really.
No. So I don't know.
Okay.
That one's like
Uh,
more middle to me.
that was a good one then. Okay. What about I'm saving the best for last, I would say. What about I'm kind of skipping around now. What about Todd Bowles, Tampa Bay, keeper cut?
You got to keep him,
Yeah.
and I
They're
think
they're, they're clicking right now.
is it the defensive coordinator or the offensive coordinator? He's like young dude.
I think the offensive coordinator because I think
He
Bowles runs the defense.
Okay. I think that OC is going to be poached. I think he's one of those young guys that I think he was probably with the Niners or something. A
Yeah.
lot of those guys get poached over the seasons, but he seems to be like one of the types that will. But yeah, that team's definitely clicking right now. Baker Mayfield, man. I I believe I started the season saying he was the worst quarterback.
Yeah. You
He was
did.
33rd in my rankings, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh, and I absolutely adore Baker Mayfield now. Like his story to me, he proved me so wrong that I have nothing but like the best wishes for that guy.
Yeah,
So
hundred
I'm
percent, man.
excited. I think he's gonna stick. I think he's like Tampa's dude right now,
Yeah.
and I think
No, I
they're
agree. I think they extend him.
like yeah, I think they do, and I think they're actually okay with them. Like they're gonna be pretty good with them. You know.
What about the coaches in New York? The Jets and the Giants. Jets Robert Saleh, Giants Brian Dable.
Yeah, we need another year out of those guys.
Okay,
Um,
I agree. Good
I
call.
think with how what like the hand they were both dealt, I think the Giants front office screwed Dable over more than anything by giving Daniel Jones such a bag. What the
Yeah.
hell was that? But
Yeah.
give someone like Dable. I mean, we saw it last year. He took that trash team to the playoffs.
And they
Give
won a
him
game.
some, yeah, give him some real weapons. I think he's a good coach. Sala, I also think he's a great coach. I mean, this team with Aaron Rodgers would be completely different. Salah's a defensive coordinator turned head coach, and we see how great this defense is. Like that
I I'm on the
what?
same page with Dable. I'm more so out on Robert Saleh.
Are
I
you out with him for sticking with the QB
kind of I
thing?
just I just don't know. I don't know if he can get everyone on the same page. I think
I,
he's a hell of a defensive coordinator, and I think that's
yeah.
probably where he should stay. I just don't know if he's a head coach. But I
I
agree
mean,
on
this is
Dable
his
getting
what?
another year.
His second year? It's his
Third,
second
I
year,
think.
wasn't it?
Third or fourth.
Third? He
Yeah.
needs one more for me to like. give him the
with
axe.
Rodgers at the helm. Okay, I see
With
it.
Rodgers, I want to see him with a competent quarterback, and I think he'll be fine. You have a
All right,
defense like
two.
that. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Because I think we
that's
can all agree that if they had a quarterback, they might have the AFC um, North, right? Or East? Sorry,
AFC
East.
East. AFC East.
Yeah,
Yeah.
East.
All right, two more here. Dennis Allen, head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
It's funny because I didn't even know who you were talking about when you said Dennis Allen.
That's why I'm saying the team too.
I I think he's like I don't know much about him, but he's more on my like leaning towards my cut list. Just because I
I would
don't
get
like
rid of
his
him.
face. I don't like how he looks
Well, in
and
this
how he
scenario, if you're
speaks.
the owner, you can tell him that and kick him to the curb, and it won't matter because you're the
Get him
owner.
out of
So
here!
get him out of there.
I
I think
mean
his
Drew
scheme
Brees.
sucks. I
Yeah.
think he's just been a horrible offensive. Like he
The
has no
Saints have
offensive
been
mind.
stuck in mediocrity for a long time now. And
Yeah. As
like
soon as they got rid of Sean
they
Payton, they just
I think
went
they have
away.
the weapons. They have the defense. Is it their quarterback? I think Carr's a good enough quarterback, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And I
All
know
right. Last
can
one.
I guess who this next one is?
Yeah.
Pete Carroll.
No. No.
Oh
I did
really?
not. I did not put
Oh
Petey on here. No. I
wow.
put
Okay.
someone that I think because Pete's. I mean, we've already kind of talked about Pete a little bit about how we
Yeah.
want him to get fired and whatnot. So I don't want to touch on Pete. Want to touch on someone that might be a controversial hot seat, and I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think that it's just because you get the same product every year for the last like 6 years, and I don't think this is good enough for this franchise. Mike
Uh
Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers.
oh wow. Mike Tomlin. I mean, we talk about that record all the time, right? Never had a losing
Yep.
season. Never had
Yep.
well, a 9-8 team isn't that good.
He's only the last time he was in the Super Bowl was before 2010, I think. They won the one Super Bowl against the Cardinals, then they lost to Rodgers in the other, but that was like 2011 maybe. So he hasn't been to a Super Bowl 12 years.
I'm gonna say no because I think it's admirable what he's been able to do with the likes of Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Mitch Trubisky. Like he's another coach where it's like get him a good quarterback, you know.
And see what
Like
happens.
get him a Russ Wilson where he's throwing to George
Oh,
Pickens and Deontay Johnson,
yeah. Pickens
Jalen
ain't gonna be on the
Warren,
team after this year. What
whatever.
about
But
Calvin Austin, your boy?
dog, he is gonna be great.
But
But yeah, I think you got to keep him. I mean, with a coach like that, and yeah, I think
I think he's kind of like in the Belichick tier where he leaves when he wants to leave at this point.
right,
But
right.
I still thought it was an interesting name to bring up just because of the fact
No,
that
I like that.
they sit at 9-8 every year, or 8-8, or 9-7, whatever.
Yeah,
So, but okay,
like
well there you go, man. That's the list. That's new year, new coach for you.
right. Cool. And with that, we're gonna jump into some new picks because we're jumping into
Ooh,
week 17 pick'em. Right.
oh yeah,
So
let's do it.
let's go ahead, and I think you have your list, right?
I do have my list in front of me.
So how we'll do this? I'm gonna read off the two guys that aren't here, Prophet J and K Dog, and then oh my God, I'm looking at Prophet J's first pick. Jesus
Oh
Christ.
no.
First game we're going
Oh
to talk
no.
about Browns versus Jets.
Yeah.
K Dog, pretty logical, pretty sound of mind. He's picking the Browns. And I'll jump in and say I'm right there with him. I got the Browns.
It makes
Prophet
three of us.
J. Oh, it makes three of us. Prophet J,
Yeah.
on the other hand, he sees
Oh
that
no.
he's behind K Dog by I believe
Don't do
5
it.
games now. He says the
Don't say
Jets,
it.
the
Oh,
Jets are winning this game.
God.
What is
Well,
happening around here?
he's now 6 games behind you guys. So
Nice. All right.
that's bad. That's bad. But
Second
I mean,
matchup here.
yeah. Yeah.
No, we're chilling. Lions versus Cowboys. I'll let you go first, K Dog. Or not K Dog. Actually, K Dog, you go first. You got the Cowboys, obviously. CDubs, who you got here?
I think this will be a good game. I think actually I don't think this will be a good game. I lied. So I think a lot of people see this as like a shootout. I don't think that's going to be the case whatsoever. I think Dallas is actually going to like get back on the right track. They're at home. They've been murking teams left and right at home. And I think the Lions have been prone to not being able to keep up in these track meets, especially when they're on the road. I think they get one here. So I think Dallas blows them out of the water. I'm
Wow.
taking Dallas here.
And that's kind of concerning to me, which I'll get into, because you have been spot on when you're talking about teams blowing other teams out of the water. I think you picked the Ravens blowing the Lions out of the water. I think you
I
picked
did.
the Bills blowing the Cowboys out of the water.
I did.
And I'm gonna give you probably Jay's take on here. So he's got the Cowboys.
Okay.
So pretty cold around here. And then I have a little insight from Lions fan 42069 himself on
Oh,
how he
insider
thinks
info.
this game could go. I've got two. I asked him for a spicy take, and I asked him for a little more mild cold take here. So
Okay.
what I got from him, he says the spice would say the Lions are back on track. Goff isn't turning the ball over, and they're gunning for that number 1 or number 2 seed with the
Yeah, that's
Cowboys
fair.
next on their hit list. And I
Ooh,
said, I
okay.
love that. And then he said, what I actually think will happen is Goff faces some pressure and turns the ball over twice. The Lions defense continues to give up lots of yards, but they won't have the 4 interceptions this week to bail them out like they had last week versus the Vikings. The Lions D line won't generate enough pressure to force Dak to make mistakes. The Cowboys can't win away, but they're back at home and it's a big game for them, so they're gonna take this one. So
Wow.
we got Lions fan 42069 not even on the Lions. And that's prime territory for me to come
Oh
in and
gosh.
roar with the Lions, baby.
I mean,
I
I
got
don't hate it, especially like the point that Lions fan makes with the playoff seeding. Like that's something I didn't even
yeah.
consider. So that's actually a really good point. A good call
Yeah.
out.
So I'm taking the Lions here. Part of it is the game we're playing here. I'm trying to get one up on K Dog. I know he's picking the Cowboys here. And I know this is one where it could work out in my favor here to pick the Lions. And because I do see the narrative. I think we saw it with the Bills. We didn't really see it with Miami, but a running game can be dominant against these Cowboys. We know
Yeah.
that David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are two dominant running backs right now. If the Lions can get that going, we know that O-line just wrecks havoc. And the Cowboys defense has been real soft against the rush. So I see them having a big game. And then we know the Lions passing game is electric too. I mean, you still got Laporte, you still got Amon-Ra. Jameson Williams, I could see him getting a long touchdown or something. And like, 42069 Lions fan, whatever. They're gunning for that number 1 or 2 seed. And I feel like this is right on par for the Cowboys to lose their first home game of the season this late in the season to give up a high seed. That's perfect. We them boys. This is what we do. We lose
We
in
them
games like this,
boys.
baby. So give me the Lions.
All right. All right. We'll
All
see.
right.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Next game, we got the Titans versus the Texans. I'm assuming CJ Stroud's back, and I think all
Yeah.
of the other boys think the same way. So us three got the Texans here. CDubs, who you got?
That makes four of us. I think the Titan season's over. So
Yeah,
and Texans need to win to stay in the playoff hunt. So
that's right. Cool. All right, next game. We got the Bears against the Falcons. I would love to see a C-Dubs Falcons pick here. The three of us have the Bears. Who you got, C-Dubs?
So it's actually funny that you say that because I do have the Falcons here. And I don't really know why, to be honest. I feel like
Yeah.
I honestly I kind of looked at this game and it's the spread. I think the spread was Bears are favored by 3 or 3.5. And
Yeah.
I don't normally take plus spreads, but I actually kind of like the plus 3.5 here because I think the weather's going to be bad. And Chicago also ranks dead last in defending receiving backs, or sorry, running backs that catch the ball out of the
Yeah.
backfield, which
Also known
Atlanta has
as receiving
Bijan.
backs.
Yes, receiving backs. Yeah, so I guess I had it right the first time. But
No.
Yeah, no, so I think that the Falcons can really exploit that matchup,
Sure.
and the Falcons
And they're
defense is fairly solid. So I mean, I don't
yeah.
know. This is kind of like an upset pick for me that I hate the Falcons. I never get their games right, so the Bears are probably going to win by 20. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Falcons. I just have a weird gut feeling on
No,
this
I
one.
like
So I'm going
that.
to take the
And
Falcons.
the Falcons are still right in the mix of things for playoffs.
Yeah, they're not
Bears
eliminated
not
yet.
as
So
much. So, but I think the Bears, it's almost like they have nothing to lose. They keep winning because they already have the number one pick. It doesn't really matter.
it's true. They
It's the
don't really care.
Panthers. Yeah, so it's just like let's just keep going. Um, yeah, next game, Dolphins Ravens. This is gonna be a great game.
Ooh,
We kind
is
of talked about
it?
this.
Is it?
We kind of talked about this a little bit. CDubs.
Yeah,
Go ahead and tell us who you got here.
yeah. I got Baltimore. I don't think this is close. I think there if it was in Miami, I could see a possibility, but Waddle has the high ankle sprain, so he's not going to play. Obviously, we joked around that he's just a decoy anyways, which he kind of is. But
Right.
uh, I think the Mostert's banged up. He's injured. He's got an ankle issue. I don't think Achan. Maybe he just had a 3-game spurt where he popped off, but he really hasn't had much production since coming back from his injury. It's just Ty Hill against the world. And I
Right.
think that the Ravens defense we saw on Monday is the same Ravens defense we're going to see here. If the Ravens win this game, they lock up the number 1 seed, which means they can rest everyone in week 18 and they get a bye the following week. So I think they come out and I think they smoke them. I don't think this is another game that I can see really having blowout potential here. And
Sure.
I think Baltimore is set up to be successful.
Nice. I agree. But I also can see this being some sort of trap game. I think the Dolphins do have all the weapons to like keep up because we all do expect the rate. Like this is like when we did the whole recap for Week 16. We expected the Bills to trounce the Chargers. We expected all the Eagles to beat the Giants like heavily.
Right.
I think we all do think the Ravens will just destroy the Dolphins. Besides K Dog baby, because he's picking the Dolphins.
Wow. Wow. That pick alone just decided that I'm starting the Ravens defense in my fantasy championship because K Dog is on the Dolphins. So
Nice. Yeah, Prophet Jay and myself both have the Ravens. I do
okay.
think this will be closer than you're alluding to, but I think, like you're saying, they have a lot to play for, and the Dolphins, like I kind of mentioned in the intro, they still haven't beat a um, above 500 team because the
Well, they did
Cowboys
last
are
week.
fraudulent,
Oh, okay.
and
No, they didn't.
but yeah, the Ravens keep flying. Let's go. Next game, Buccaneers Saints.
Gross.
So K Dogs has the Saints,
Really?
and from that, I'm assuming you have the Bucks.
I do. Yeah. I don't think I haven't been inspired from a Saints performance in months. So I'm on Tampa.
I'm loving these K Dog picks because a lot of these aren't mine. I also have the Bucks. So does Prophet J. This Bucks team just looks different.
They look different. Yeah,
I think
they're on a different gravy right now,
yeah,
man.
Mayfield has that swagger right now. Like I've seen that guy in college. I've seen that guy dancing on videos. Like
I
when
mean,
he has that
he's got his
swagger.
Oklahoma swagger
Yeah,
back.
when he has that swagger, he is unstoppable. And as much as I was gushing about him 30 minutes ago, you think I'm gonna be picking the Saints here? Give me the Bucks all the way. Next game, pretty easy. Bills across the board.
Yeah, Bills.
Bills all the way. I don't think we need to talk too much about this. Like C-Dubs was saying, I think it's gonna be an absolute blowout.
Yeah.
Next game, Eagles Cardinals. I think this will be closer than people think, but we all have the Eagles on my end. What about you, C-Dubs?
Ooh, that makes 4 of us. Yeah, fuck the Cardinals.
Nice, nice. All right.
Yeah.
Panthers, Jags,
Oh, dude.
Jaguars. I got the Jags. Prophet Jay's got the Jags. K Dog's got the Jags.
Bro, they're my team and I almost wanted to pick the Panthers. I'm just so
Yeah.
done. I'm so done with Jacksonville. The only reason I'm picking Jacksonville is because of Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's gonna live in the backfield. I think he's gonna
Nice.
record like 4 sacks on by himself.
Yeah.
So not my smoking hot take, but
Sure.
yeah, I'll pick Jacksonville.
Nice. All right. Next game, Raiders versus Colts. So this one, I thought I might see some Raider or some Colts picks around here. But from what I'm seeing here, the three of us have the Raiders. Am I going to see a Colts on your
You're
end?
gonna see a Colts pick. I'm picking
All
Indy.
right, good.
So
I like that.
I mentioned it before the show when we were talking that the Colts are favored by 3.5 in this one, which coming
Oh,
off of the last like 2 or 3 weeks wouldn't make any sense to anyone because the Colts have sucked and the Raiders have played on fire the last 2 weeks. And the Raiders just
yeah.
beat Kansas City. So I'm gonna play the narrative here that this is a trap line set by Vegas and that they want people to take the Raiders because they're seeing, oh, well, the Raiders just beat Kansas City in Arrowhead. They just demolished. They almost dropped 70 points on the Chargers. Like, yeah, they're the hot team. Surely they're going to come in here and beat up on the lowly Colts. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think maybe the Colts right the ship. I don't know how the Colts win this game, but we have to remember that the Raiders won the game and they didn't complete a pass in the last 3 quarters of the football game against the Chiefs.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm going with the line here and saying that it doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm gonna pick the Colts at home.
Yeah, I think we might see Jimmy Garoppolo this game. Uh,
Oh, now
so
that's a hot take right there. I
not,
like
not a
that.
smoking hot take, but not my smoking hot take. But I do think that. I mean, we saw an 0 for 10, Aiden O'Connell. I mean, what's going on there? Like, is that
Yeah.
actually our guy? We've seen him most of the season now. Let's get some dubs. I mean, you're in a playoff position. If you keep winning out, the Raiders are. Uh, maybe you do put that guy who has the experience in. Put that Jimmy
No,
G
that's
in
fair.
there.
I like that take.
Yeah, I do think the other guys probably thought the other guys were gonna pick the Colts. So maybe
Yeah.
that's why they
No,
put
that's
the
fair.
Raiders here.
It just to me it just screams like a letdown spot. Like everyone and their mom is
No, I
probably
feel
on the
that.
Raiders this week, and
I
it's
mean,
like,
that's just. I mean, that's your theory. The hot team loses. I'm right there with you.
okay.
But yeah, I do
Yeah.
have the Raiders. Rams, Giants, Rams.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Rams.
across the board. They look great. I think they're primed for a playoff. I mean, playoff run. They do look good, which surprises I think everybody because nobody thought they were going to be
Yeah.
this good
No,
going into the season.
100%.
So,
For sure.
all right, 49ers, Commanders. Need I say
49ers.
more? Need I even
No.
utter?
But I think the Commanders could cover. It's at 13.5 right now. Wouldn't be
We
surprised.
we might
But
hear about that later on, huh?
no. But come back to this when the 49ers win by 50. So
All right, CDubs, Seahawks versus Steelers. Let's hear what
Ooh.
you got.
I was tempted to take the Steelers in this game. I think I would have taken the Steelers if it was at Heinz Field. However, it is not at Heinz Field. So I'm gonna roll with the Hawks.
Nice. We all have the Hawks as well. So I'm surprised
Perfect.
K Dog didn't say the Steelers. I don't know. I always assume K Dog's gonna pick against the Seahawks. So all right, Chiefs Bengals. I think we all have the Chiefs here
Yeah,
after what we saw
I
from
I have the
Browning and the
Chiefs.
Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Chiefs. I feel like this is gonna be another kind of like I guess I expected them to beat down the Patriots and they did not. But after you getting an embarrassing loss like that and you're playing at home again, I don't think this is gonna be a fun time for the Bengals.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, please, bro. Please. I'm begging you.
Yeah.
Do it.
All
Do it
right,
for me.
Chargers Broncos with the recent news that has been dropped.
Dude, yeah. Super
I,
weird. I
yeah,
like
I
I
I'll just
had the Broncos, but I kind
right.
of want to change it. Like is that allowed? Once I write it,
I
is it allowed to change?
I mean that news dropped before. Yeah, so if you want to change it, we did that last week with the Browns and the Texans.
I'm not gonna change it. It's in Mile High. Jarrett Stidham didn't look horrible last year on the Raiders. I'm gonna leave it as is. I think the Broncos are gonna win, but
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
don't know.
So I got the Chargers.
All right.
I think this was coming. So I saw that Russ was going to get benched around lunchtime. I didn't know he was going to get cut, but I did make the switch over to the Chargers. I did have the Broncos, but I said, this Chargers team did look better last week. Looks like
Yeah,
they got some sort of life. I think they're playing kind of like that like upset kid, like oh the Broncos still have playoff kind of hopes.
100%.
I mean
Yeah.
not anymore, but like the Chargers are just gonna come in. I think Easton Stick looks pretty decent. The only thing that can win this game for the Broncos is gonna be their defense. which is absolutely doable. I don't have any hopes for who's their quarterback now?
Jarrett Stidham.
Stidham. So
Yeah, no, this I
uh
feel like this is a truly a toss-up game. Like I
yeah,
couldn't tell
toss-up
you who
game for
wins.
sure. K-Dog's got the Broncos and Prophet J has the Chargers.
Okay, so we're split on that one.
All right. So yeah, we are split. And then the last game is this Monday Night Football, which is going to be a terrible Monday Night Football game.
I think it's Sunday Night Football. I think Monday Night Football isn't a thing this week because they got the national or the semifinals are on Monday.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So Sunday Night Football, Vikings Packers. I think this could be an interesting game. Vikings are not the Vikings. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Who
Vikings
you
are
got?
favored. Vikings are favored by 1.5. I got the Packers. I think Christian Watson and Jaden Reed come back, and we already talked about it that when they have their full complement of weapons, this team just
Yeah.
looks different on offense. So I got the Packers.
Nice. Prophet J and K Dog are right there with you with the Packers. I actually got the Vikings here. I think that defense
Oh,
is pretty dang good. Um, and I don't know. I feel like with the Packers, I was able to kind of like jump on the Packers train at the right time when they were kind of hot. They beat the Chiefs. And then I was able to hop off the Packers at the right time. I think they're kind of on a downfall. I don't, with all the weapons they've lost, and I don't know if are they coming back? Do we know if that's for sure?
I did not check. Okay, actually, I think Christian Watson did practice today, so he might be
Regardless,
back.
he's probably
I don't know about Reed, but
he's probably gonna pull his hammy again. But Vikings, I know they just
probably.
lost Hawkinson. They lost Addison. They still got Jay Jettas, man, and
And
Nick
Jair Alexander was ruled out today too for the
Ayers
Packers. So
ruled out, and that was part of it. It was just funny because you did you hear why he was ruled out?
yeah, because he pretended to be a captain. He was a fake captain, and he almost messed up the coin toss because he almost said the wrong thing.
That's
So
what an idiot.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I got the Vikings here. So
okay. I don't
and
hate
that's
that.
gonna
I don't hate that at all.
yeah, that's gonna round out our week 17 pick'em, and just to kind of break things down further. There were 10 games where all three of us chose the same team, and then there's 2 games where I chose someone different, and then 1 game where Prophet J was alone, and then 3 games where K Dog was alone.
Ooh.
So
Uh-oh. So he's
uh,
taking a risk.
yeah, this feels like a risk week. He's like, okay, I'm up by 2. Let's risk a few games here. If I don't get them, then next week I can kind of play it more safe. He's playing with the lead right now. He's trying to get a little further ahead, but in doing so, he might actually fall
Might leave that door
behind.
open a little bit.
That's right.
See? We'll have to see.
All right, top tens. Let's just blow right through these. So I'll start with K Dog, since we were just talking
Okay.
about him. Number 10, he's got the Seahawks.
Oh.
Number 9, Chiefs. Number
Okay.
8, the Eagles. Number 7, this surprises me, the Cowboys. How far they've
Huh.
fallen. Number 6, the Lions. Number 5, Browns. At 4, the Dolphins. At 3, the Bills. At 2, the Ravens. And at 1, okay, I don't think that's right.
What? That
I
can't
don't
be
think I think
right.
he messed this up. He says at 2, the Ravens, and at 1, the Niners. I'm gonna go
That can't
ahead.
be right.
I'm gonna switch that for him. I'm gonna say the Niners are at 2 and the Ravens are at 1. 'Cause there's no way he would have done
No. No.
that. Prophet J got the Buccaneers at 10, the
Okay.
Lions at 9, the Seahawks at 8, which I think is too high. The Chiefs at 7, Rams at 6,
Oh.
which is pretty dang high. The Cowboys at 5, the Dolphins at 4, Bills at 3, Niners at 2, Ravens at 1. So
Wow.
top 4 are pretty consistent. Um, I'll go ahead and go through mine. So I also have the Buccaneers at 10. They're
Okay.
coming back for me. I think I had them like early on, and then we just kind of forgot about them. But I've been gushing about Baker. I got to get him in my top 10. And I feel like I'm gonna see him at your top 10, aren't I? Number 9, the Browns. Number 8, the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs. I wish I could have put them at 20, but that
You
would have
don't have
been
to put him in there.
disrespect. I know, but the Eagles at 7, the Cowboys at 6, the Lions at 5, The Dolphins at 4, Bills 3, 49ers 2, Ravens 1. So pretty consistent
Wow.
up at the
You guys
top.
got a lot of love for the Bills on here. Are you guys ignoring the fact that they almost just lost to the Chargers?
Yeah, but they're about to blow out the Patriots. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Totally fair. Okay. For my top 10, you're absolutely right. I got Tampa Bay at 10. I'm riding with
Let's go.
you and the Prophet on that one. So I got Tampa at 10. I got the Rams at 9. Uh, I have the Cowboys at 8. I have the Lions at 7.
Hmm.
I have the Eagles at 6. I have the Bills at 5. I got the Browns at 4. I don't know why or
Wow.
how, but
How
I got
did
the
they
Browns up
sneak
there,
up
man.
there?
I know, I know.
That's
But
nuts.
kudos to Cleveland. They can still get the number 1 seed in the AFC, which is wild.
That's wild.
So Browns at 4. I got the Dolphins at 3, 49ers at 2, Ravens at 1.
Nice. And with you putting the Browns up that high, I think I do disrespect them a bit. I have them at 9. They are what, 10 and 5?
10 and 4.
10 and 4. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it's pretty
With
crazy.
how with the QB changes they have, and how well their defense has been playing, I do think they probably need to be higher. I just see like the teams I have above them just seem more complete to me, like
Dude,
on offense and defense.
Stefanski, their head coach, he could win Coach of the Year if you think about it.
I don't think he gets it over the Lions, but
I don't know.
I
You
picked
never
the
know.
Lions, so that's why I say that. Uh, but whatever. So yeah, this is top tens, and we'll have a graphic out probably tomorrow, and then we're gonna wrap it up with a smoking hot take from each of
Oh
us,
yeah.
and I'm gonna let CDubs take the
Okay.
first smoking hot take.
All right. So look, we all know anyone that's listening to this podcast, you know what this is. This is the fantasy playoff championship week.
That's
Okay,
right.
this is what we bleed, we sweat, and we cry over for 16 weeks, for 4 months. You're on your phone checking every Sunday. Oh, I need this guy to get this catch. I need this guy, right? And it all comes down to this. This is championship week, and the players know that. Okay, they trust me, they do. They get chirped on all their Instagram stuff. They post a picture of their boo out at Nobu for getting dinner, and the top comment is, "Why didn't you get 10 receptions and 150 yards, bro? What's up with you?" You know. So the players get chirped. They understand what's at stake. This is fantasy playoff championship week. Now, in my main league that I'm in the finals in, I'm going for my third championship in 6 years. Okay.
Wow.
A lot of money is associated with that. Now I want you to remember the number 3, because my
Okay.
prediction is going to be all based around the number 3. Now, Coop, I want you to tell me, as a position player, a running back, wide receiver, tight end, how hard is it to score 1 touchdown in a week in the NFL?
Not very.
Okay, that's fair. What about 2 touchdowns in the same game? How tough is it to score 2 touchdowns in the same game?
That's a little harder.
Okay, what about 3 touchdowns in one game?
Holy smokes.
Pretty tough.
That's hot.
So my smoking hot take is that for the finals of the fantasy championship round, there will be at least 3 players across the league that score 3 or more touchdowns this week as position players. So there will be either one, running backs, tight ends, or wide receivers. 3 of them are going to score 3 touchdowns or more this week.
Wow. That is hot.
Oh yeah,
That
it
is
is.
that is 3 times as hot as mine. Because my smoking hot take on the week is Justin Jefferson has a hat trick this week. 3 touchdowns.
Oh, let's go! I'll
That's kind
take
of
that.
wild. I was kind of
I'll take
sweating. I was
that.
like, is he really gonna say this? Like, where you're just
Oh
gonna
yeah.
say mine? But that's nuts because I'm picking 1 to happen, and you're picking 3.
But I'm not specifying who scores. I'm just
That's
saying
fair.
3 players will have 3 plus
Yeah,
touchdowns
that's
this
fair. I
week.
get which is harder, do you think? Like yours or mine?
Probably yours, because you're actually saying this individual will score 3 times. But your individual is also like the GOAT. So
That's
I like
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Do you think is that hot enough?
I think so. I mean, again,
Think so?
you can't overstate enough how difficult it is to score 2 touchdowns in the NFL, three
Yeah.
touchdowns. I mean, across the entire course of the season, there might be like 5 people that have scored 3+ touchdowns in a game,
Right.
if
Like
that. That's
if you had,
probably
yeah, if you had told me like, okay, Justin Jefferson has a touchdown this week, I'd be like, okay.
yeah, like
I'd
that's
be
not
like,
hot.
if he had two, it's like, oh, hey, nice. That's a dang nice game.
Yeah,
Three, you'd
three.
be like, holy, like what? He's got 180 yards with that
That's
too.
the stuff
Like,
of that's the stuff of fantasy legend right there.
yeah.
Three
So
touchdowns.
I
So
like that.
I
I
like
like
that.
that.
Oh,
Uh, I like that. Uh, all right. Prophet J coming in hot. He loves touchdowns just as much as we do. Amon Ra, CD Lamb, and Jameer Gibbs combined for 7 touchdowns
oh, damn. Okay, in the same game.
in the same game. So
Yeah, because
CD
they're playing
Lamb's
each
really
other.
gonna have 5 touchdowns, huh? That's
He might
crazy.
get all 7, to be honest.
That's pretty hot, though. I mean, you're expecting
Like
at
that.
least 2 from each, 4 from the Lions. So that's 28 points right there. So why is he picking the Cowboys to win this game if he believes
He
this
he
smoke not take can win?
he must think it's gonna be a shootout, man. I mean, I don't know, but
Guess
I like
so.
it. I also like the variety, or I like how our Schmodown takes have evolved over the course of the season. How at
Right.
first we were like, this player is gonna do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Now we're doing like combo stuff. Like I like this. I like this trajectory we're
Yeah,
on
me
here.
too. I
What's K
enjoyed
Dog
it
got?
too. K-Dog, he did not get one into me on time.
Boom, 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 boom. Wow.
I tried to prolong it as much as I could, but yeah, K-Dog, he must have forgotten. Maybe I'll get one out on a comment or something on a post. But yeah, K-Dog wasn't able to get one to me. If we could make one up for him, I'd probably say Dak throws 3 interceptions, something like
Hey,
that.
hey, come on, man. That's my fantasy
Uh,
championship quarterback. He ain't throwing 3 picks.
oh man. Well, that's it, folks. If you stick around this long, Easton
Stuck
sticked
around,
around.
bro.
I know.
Yeah, I like that.
Uh,
Easton sticked around.
stuck around this long, then I hope you enjoy the pod and I hope you enjoy us. Give us a rating or something on Spotify, wherever you listen. We are on YouTube now as well. We also post content on Instagram and X and
TikTok.
TikTok. So if
Hmm.
that's your platform of choice, go ahead and follow us on there. We also got that contest. We want you guys to have this free merch. I mean, for us, you are representing our brand. We want that out there, like we love that you guys listen to us and we would love it for you guys to represent us. And just, throw some smoking hot takes on our posts and stuff. We post kind of weekly things. Week 6 or week 17, pickup's gonna be coming out. Week 17, top 10's gonna be coming out. Just throw your takes on there. We like to hear that stuff. And we're just glad you guys enjoy listening to us week to week. And appreciate you guys. I mean, we're going into a new year, so hopefully this next year is gonna be even better.
Yeah, I
CDubs,
agree.
got anything?
I got nothing other than let's end this year with a bang. We got 2 weeks left in the regular season, then we hit the postseason here. So yeah, looking forward to. I mean, it's less than 60 days away. The Super Bowl, it's coming up. So
That's
we'll
right.
uh we'll see who wins, but it's gonna start getting serious here, which is fun.
Oh yeah, baby. And go dogs.
Go
Because last
dogs,
time
baby.
last time we're gonna be recording a pod. It's gonna be after the Sugar Bowl, and we're gonna know who won that
It's gonna be the
game.
last pod ever. If we lose, we may just
This
not.
could be.
We
You
maybe
might
don't.
never hear from us again after this next Monday. All right. All right.
So
But regardless, we're hoping you guys stick around for the next year, and we'll see you guys in the new year.
yeah, sounds like a plan.
Smoking.
Smoking.